will.i.am, it is great to have you here at the summit, the MIT Stanford Summit, the next revolution of AI. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence, which is a subject that you are passionate about, you're deeply involved in. And what sets, this group meeting apart is that it's a curated selection of leaders from academia and business who are both shaping the future of AI and also hands-on with AI, implementing the future. So for our audience, I'd like to start with a short recap about your work in AI that goes back more than a decade. So when did you first start working in AI as an investor and as a hands-on developer?
I got inspired by this field from a professor by the name of Professor Patrick Winston, rest in peace, who led the AI department at MIT. I used to attend his class. I wasn't a student at MIT or the Media Lab, but he was kind enough to let me sit in his classroom from time to time when the Black Eyed Peas would tour, when we would find ourselves in Boston. And sitting in his classes and having discussions with him after class and hanging out with Professor Patrick Winston, I was just over the moon about the potentials of AI back in 2005 when I first learned of it. And for those that work in the field, if you remember 2005, we were in the AI winter. And so from 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, I would always go to, every time I would be in Boston, I would sit in his class. We did this video. I dedicated a video to Professor Patrick Winston on a song called "I'm Gonna Be Rocking That Body." And in this video, we kind of low-key predicted this age that we're in right now with text to video, text to music, where in the beginning of the video, we kind of, hinted on the age that we're in now. Back then, there wasn't an LLM, so to say or land on, you're gonna, teach the computer everything in the human language to the point where if you type into it and train the computer on my timbre of my voice, there was no diffusion model at the time. There was no transformer back in 2009. So to land on that, I was, thank you, Professor Patrick Winston, for, sprinkling perspective for us to come to that conclusion of what was possible in that video that I dedicated to Professor Patrick Winston. I showed it to him first. I was like, yo, check this out. And he liked it. He put it on his blog, on his MIT blog. So rest in peace, I miss him. And I will always love MIT and Professor Patrick Winston because of that. I know it was a very long-winded what got me into it, but it's sentimental to me.
And does that sort of also coincide when you were beginning to get into investing in it too? Because you've sort of been very deep in that side of things too.
I invested in Tesla back in 2000 and around the same time, 2006, 7, because of those insights. Technology companies that were tech-leaning, invested in building teams, putting teams together back in 2012. I worked with a company called Nuance back in the day that were like, they were the TTS of the time. We built NLP systems back in 2012 on Snapdragon chips by forking Android. Invested in, small companies that are heavy in AI, some light AI solutions. Where AI is very vague. So
Sure.
Spell check is AI. Auto-tune is AI. Some filters, facial recognition is some version of AI, machine learning. But then like the heavy systems like ChatGPT, invested in OpenAI super early, Anthropic super early, Hugging Face super early, Runway super early, Udio super early. Because of that video, I'm Gonna Be Rocking That Body, an investor that invested in one of my first companies back in 2012-13 introduced me to Dimas and Mustafa at DeepMind. So Dimas has always been kind and encouraging, acknowledged the work that I was doing. So that type of back in 2012-13, 14 when I met Dimas, and seeing the systems that they built and his nod on the things that we were doing, it's encouraging. It helps, when you're having self-doubt, especially coming from the field that I come from, like coming from music and entertainment. There's a lot of cynics like, what? will.i.am, what are you doing in the AI space? Having folks from the community acknowledge the work that you're doing and encouraging you to continue regardless of your trials and tribulations. Everyone has and faces some type of like setbacks, but that doesn't mean you stop. And so I'm one of those like, trip, fuck it, get back up, let's go. Because I love the field, I love the work, I love how it supercharges my philanthropic efforts to, go to the inner city and prepare kids with robotic skill sets and computer science skill sets. There's a train of thought that people are saying that you shouldn't learn to code now that there's text to code. I don't think that's right. You should always want to know the machine. So just to surrender to text to code and not know, I think that's convenient. Right. That only serves, the hierarchy. But for common folk, just to rely on text to code and not understand the construct of these systems, whether it's Python, C++, C, React Native, you should always want to know.
Yeah, to understand the process. So you spoke a lot about how obviously there's so many different things that AI can be, and this 2-day summit is covering a lot of ground. I want to make sure that I read all this here. We're talking here at the summit about AI as it intersects with foundation models and agentic AI, robotics and autonomous systems, wearable technologies and sensing, human-centered design and ethical AI, and so much more. So my question is, looking ahead, what aspects of AI interest you the most? Are any of these that I mentioned those, or maybe something else? Like, what facets of AI are you most excited about?
I like them all. I mean, that sounds very broad. Agentic AI is awesome, where these systems can take action. With, obviously, you want to have some guardrails.
Sure.
With agents taking action, a whole bunch of new problems that we've never had are going to arise. And because there's no regulations and governance still, that's going to be a hurdle that we're going to have to tackle as a society real soon. So hopefully regulation comes without stifling innovation. But starting with the basics, we need the basics. And folks like Dimas, that is like pushing the boundaries. And as he's pushing the boundaries, he's like, hey, we need some regulation. Dario is out there building agentic, building tools for folks to build tools. One of the OG guys that wrote GPT, leading all the while saying we need some governance. So Dario's one of the good guys. Dimas is one of the good guys as well. Congratulations on your Nobel Peace Prize for AlphaFold. And it's an honor to have met him back in the day in 2013, 14. And the ones that are out there, you hear them questioning, how do we ensure that it's safe? How do we ensure that it's AI for good? And then there's a lot of shadow dwellers. There's a lot of folks that are out there that, aren't about and for regulation. And those are the cats that we should, be concerned about.
Tell me a little bit more about your primary AI company, FYI.ai, and what sort of was the motivating force and the catalyst for you to found it?
I initially started FYI.ai because I started seeing pushback from the kids that we were trying to reach out to join our after-school program in the inner city, to take an interest in computer science and robotics. And so to show them like, hey, we can do this, I started my own company in the AI space. I've had companies in the past, but it wasn't like heavy tech. And FYI.ai is a Web3 messenger with generative AI at the core, packed with elliptical curve cryptography, keeping everyone's data safe. I did it because during COVID, when everybody was hooping and hollering about NFTs, I didn't understand why a file had more security than my messenger and all my conversations. So I was like, yo, let's create a messenger that was just as secure as an NFT. How can we borrow from that same type of architecture for all my conversations, all my data, all my files? And why can't the file management be in the same place of my conversations? Why can't I send large files in the messenger? Why do I only communicate with humans in one place and then compromise on social media with bots? And I don't even know the difference between a bot and a human on social media.
Right.
Why can't I have a designated area for AIs? We call them personas. And why can't I elect to put a persona or an agent in the same thread of my comms with my team? And so we built that. And we have systems that are now deployed in Mercedes vehicles when we simulated radio. So we've taken the concept of radio as it was and opened it up, dimensionalized it to where you can now have a conversation with the radio. Back in the day, you could talk to the radio when you called up, but the host could only talk to one person at a time. In this case, hundreds of thousands, millions of people can talk to the same AI DJ host around the segment, and it will always return back to the course, no matter how you splinter and take it into different points of interest. So FYI Radio is deployed in Mercedes. We just partnered up with Qualcomm. That system has now been married to the Qualcomm Snapdragon chip. It started philanthropically, and it motivated me to build this new company, FYI.ai. Now we partner with ASU and built a system that augments how teachers teach, professors profess, and students learn with this forever learning tool called Edufy, edu.fyi. We've taken our technology, reconfigured it for learning, and building agents for professors, faculty at ASU, and allowing students to build their agentic learning companion that fosters and ushers in a forever learning mechanism. So yeah, thank you once again, Professor Patrick Winston.
Speaking about that partnership with Arizona State University, why do you think it's important to sort of combine AI with learning tools? Why is that an important thing to examine and to act on now?
AI and learning, I mean, if there was like a domain that AI should be focused, education would be like, the whole reason for AI existing should be for education. There's 8 billion people on the planet. How do you ensure every single person is brought up to speed? There's not enough teachers to go around for everyone to have equal access to the highest level of education. And as AI gets better and better and better, this is the worst that it's ever going to be. These systems will be able to reason better. And so from that perspective, the best domain for AI to be useful is in education. And education on a bunch of things. Education on how to farm better, education on how to take care of yourself better, education on how to do business better, ethical practices. And that's the reason why I think it's important that there's governance and regulations to ensure that these systems are safe. AI, it doesn't follow the same practice of social media. Hopefully, inshallah, AI doesn't follow the same practice as the Food and Drug Administration, where there's food in our supermarkets that we know aren't healthy. You know what I'm saying? And then we're eating the worst stuff possible to then take this medicine. Back to AI, let's hope, let's pray that the same practice for the Food and Drug Administration, same practice as social media, does not wind up in the AI field.
Absolutely. So, I mean, zooming out and kind of going back to your beginnings, your start, you're a prolific music producer. You're somebody.
I'll be making music.
See, I knew you would say that. But media, podcast, SiriusXM radio show, content for the screen. You're a creator. You're a creative. How do you see AI as being a potentially beneficial tool for your creative endeavors and for the pursuits of creatives?
That is a mixed bag of questions. I mean, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because you could say like, yo, AI is a tool, man, check us out, bro. It helps me here. And it might, and it does. But in a hot skip and a jump, it's gonna be just creating on its own. It could already create on its own. And it's gonna compete with you. And it will make awesome stuff. For the one song you made in an hour, it made like 1,000.
Right. It will certainly make more than a human could make.
And pretty awesome at that.
Yeah.
Sophisticated chords, crazy freaking like breakdowns, like awesome similes and metaphors, wordplay and rhyme schemes. Right now it's the worst it's gonna be. It's gonna get better and better and better and better. Not just for songwriting, for filmmaking. You know, V3 that Google launched, what? That's, you know, Kling, what? You know, these tools are like, wow. But before there were like cameras, we all waited for the painter to paint the landscape. And depending on the painter did an awesome job. And you're like, wow, I want to hang that on my wall. And he sold paintings. And before the printing machine, that one painting was valuable. Then the duplication printing machine came. Now you can make prints, duplicates. And then the photography came. Now you could take a pic. And then the painters are like, hey, this guy over here taking pictures, man. And shit tons of pictures are taken. That does not mean the value of an awesome painter and the need for an awesome painter to paint a landscape is not, you know, sought after. Even in the advent of the camera, the camera was able to do something that the painter was not able to do. And that was then take that photo, make a bunch of different copies, and then have a moving picture. Even though you can animate a scene, and Disney did an awesome job with painting and making moving pictures with animation, still the advent of the camera and moving pictures gave us movies. I use that as a comparison to the painter painting a scene. But the imagination, that's one thing AI does not have, is to imagine something that from nothing to something. That's what we do. And so if AI is gonna help you do that, more of that, more ideation to manifestation, then now it's time for the dreamers. Right now is the age of the renaissance for those with huge imagination, the hyper imaginative individual. That person is going to spawn new industries, new concepts. As far as like doing yesterday like it was, that's done. AI is going to do yesterday. Pretty awesome. But tomorrow, yo, bring it.
Right.
Let's dream up the dreams that haven't been dreamt yet. But as far as the mimics, the AI is an awesome mimicker. It can mimic the scenic. Perfect. And so that's a good thing, it's a bad thing, but it's not the end of things.
Right.
And so, yeah, bring on the dreamers.
Great time for the dreamers, not so great for the human mimickers right now.
Was it ever a great time for human mimics? I mean, there's just been a business about it.
Right.
You know, there's been an industry for like copycats. The machine likes the cookie cutter. And they just found a better cookie cutter. And that cookie cutter has been mechanized. And the machine can make beats. The machine can do awesome paintings, Mid-Journey. The machine can do awesome movies, VO3. But can the machine do blah, blah, blah? Blah, blah, blah does not exist.
Right.
Who's gonna do the thing that doesn't exist? That's what we do. And if we could use the machine to do that faster, then yeah, bring it. Bring on the things that haven't been thought.
So taking off the creative hat and putting on the investor hat right now, What are the things in the realm of AI, what aspects of AI are you currently pursuing and why from an investing perspective?
I'm investing in people with, carving out time with our partnership with ASU to teach, inspire, encourage folks to go out there and build personal agents. That's where my focus is now. Opposed to I've done the company thing, investing in companies from Tesla to OpenAI to Anthropic to Twitter, but sold Twitter, Pinterest, Dropbox. But now I just want to do more people investment. Spending time with the youth, spending time with forever learners, reskillers, upskillers, and create a movement, because you're seeing these systems render a lot of jobs obsolete. So in that case, who's going to outfit and give people a fighting chance against the agents, against the clones? It kind of feels like we're living in a sci-fi film. That's where my focus is now for the next half a decade, between now and 2030. That's what I want to really focus on.
So speaking of half a decade, putting on your futurist, future casting hat, in 5 years.
That's 2030.
Yep. 2030, on an average day, how do you think AI will be working for you / with you? What are the ways that AI is going to be a part of your life on an average day 5 years from now?
All right, let's take a look at what's happening now, right? So right now, 24 hours of the day, 8 hours sleeping, and the other traveling and eating.
Yeah.
The other 12 hours, you're working. And in that work, you're doing organic physical work, talking to your friends. Let's say 6 hours of that. The other 6 hours, you're in the digiverse. You're typing, you're tweeting. Just look at your phone, what your screen time.
Right.
Your screen time, on the average, is 3 to 4. If you're working a lot, 6 hours from your laptop to phone. So a big portion of your life in your waking moments is in the digiverse. So it's safe to say that your sleeping moments, where your neural network, you have no control of that, and is equal to your mind in the digiverse. And the other time, you're either working organic collaboration with humans, physical collaboration, and traveling, and some leisure. But while you're in the digiverse, you don't know if you're talking to humans or bots. In 2030, you don't have to do that. There's going to be some version of you that's yours. Like, I have my digestive system, that's mine. If it was freaking faulty right now, I'm like, yo, Sean, I ate some shit, bro. Oh, let me borrow your digestive system. Digest this for me right quick. You couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, yo, bro, I just came back from Asia, bro. I got this freaking, I think I got a cold on the airplane. Yo, let me borrow your immune system so I can fight this off. I can't do that.
Right.
There's certain systems that are mine and yours, and we can't share. There's no exchange. There's no barter. Like, yo, bro, let me use your skeletal system right now. I'm feeling kind of jellyfish right now, bro. I can't do that.
Right.
Why are we sharing AI systems? Why we got the public GPT? Although I love OpenAI, it's great. But is that what the future looks like? Are we just all sharing the same public? Nah, that ain't it. Right now, I got a refrigerator in my house. I got Wi-Fi. I got a microwave. I got a sink. I got plumbing. I don't got my data server in my house. I've been convinced that I got to use somebody else's cloud. Why is that? That ain't it.
Right.
That was it for the internet 1.0, 2.0. This
Far beyond that.
This internet that we're about to go to, where I could talk to it, I need my own GPU data farm and my own. That's my shit.
So a bespoke agentic counterpart in the digital space.
Yeah. If I get my wallet right now, I got something in my wallet that my grandmother didn't have when she was 20. My grandma, rest in peace. When my grandma was 20, there was no credit cards. This concept of credit cards, that's new. Right. In the grand scheme of things, that's some new shit. There is no data bank. You can't bank your data. There's no system that you bring in your house for you to perfect your data set, for your AI to be a better AI for you and your family, for you and your aspirations, your to-dos, your tasks. It's not fully there yet. There's some pieces you could piece together if you're like, on Hugging Face. If you're like developing, if you're like a Stanford student or MIT student. But as far as my sister, she can't be like, yeah, Willie, I went to Best Buy and I was looking at this GPU and what agent system do you think I should have for me? Should I be banking with this for my, that ain't it.
Right.
That doesn't exist yet. That's gonna exist, but what company is gonna merge to do that? All right, let's take the bank. Maybe you bank with Bank of America. Maybe you bank with freaking Wells Fargo. Well, let's take both of those banks. You put both of those banks together. Now, who got more money? Wells Fargo and Bank of America together, or Meta? Now, how a company give you something for free got more money than all our money put together with the two banks? How does that happen? How we do that? How we get to that reality? Imagine somebody said that in 1985. There's going to be a company that gives you free products that will eventually have more money than two of America's biggest banks when you put them together. Well, how is that possible? Oh yeah, data. Data is going to be the new gold rush. That's where we are. And so is that where it's going to be like in 2030, 2035, 2040? New companies are going to sprout. Data banks.
will.i.am, thank you so much. This has been really informative and eye-opening and fantastic. And I'm sure everyone watching.
There's probably, seeing the audience that we're in, there's probably going to be a lot of people like, tell us something we don't know, will.i.am. But hopefully there's some people in the audience that are like, oh wow, I never looked at it from that perspective.